Testing, testing. Alright, cool, we're good. Alright, so we are back. We got our boy Kongol. And we're going to, if you see one viewer, that's because it's me. Anyway, we're going to go back and continue the game from where we are. Let me just pull up something real quick. Stardust. Because I don't want to miss any. Right there. We're going to change it. We're going to put Kongol in the party as soon as we get his dragon spirit, which is actually relatively easy. So, how many are in this city? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's... Okay, so the next one's on the Queen's Ferry. So that's where we're going to go. It's changing disc right now. Okay. So... Alright, well, we'll have Kongol's Dragoon spirit long before we get to the Queen's Ferry. Who do we currently got in the party? We got these two. Let's go ahead and replace them. As much as I want Albert in the party, we're going to change him to Heschel, because we're going to need Albert later. We could technically farm sachets, or whatever they're called. We could technically farm them until and then just use that to just gain tons of experience points. But I don't really feel like it, and it's not actually required to beat the game. We might do a little bit of grinding for the fun of it. Oh, I haven't seen these dudes since I've been here, I mean. Alright, Berserker, huh? Berserker looks cool. He could have been a boss. Maybe earlier in the game he would have been a boss. So as far as... Oh wow, 500 versus 100, okay. Interesting. Anyway, I imagine... I imagine the reason why, what was the word? No, okay. He probably did 500 damage because he's Heschel. And Earth might somehow block fire, I don't know. Anyway, as far as, where we're gonna stop today, I don't know. We'll go as far as we want. We'll find a good stopping spot. We'll be done before, in real time, is around 3 o'clock. Sometime around 3 o'clock is when we're gonna stop. 3 o'clock for me, I mean. Although that means nothing if you're watching this in the future. Just know that right now it's in my time is about 12, almost 12. So yeah, if you're watching this in the future, it's 12 o'clock. It's kind of trippy thinking, if you think about it. It might not be 12 o'clock for you there, or it might be 12 o'clock. That might be even more trippy. Who knows?
Take that, flurry of sticks.
Flurry of sticks. Oh, okay. Maybe berserkers just have no defense. Oh, dang it! I believe these right here, these pigs, orcs. I don't know what they're called. Let's see what they're called. They're called piggies. Well, I think they're the ones that drop the things. Crush dance. Yeah, crush dance is gonna give me way too much spirit points. End up being like level 5 Dragoon by the time I get done with this ability. I love how like all of Dart's abilities are fairly well balanced until you get to his last edition, which is just better than all of them by far. There is a trade-off. If you suck at additions, then do I have any? I don't think I do. No, I don't. That's okay. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so yeah, if you're not good at additions, then obviously you're never gonna get really good additions later on in the game. But there's a trade-off. It's like some additions do an okay amount of damage, but they're easy to do, as opposed to the ones that are kind of hard to do that do a ridiculous amount of damage. Music in this game is so good. You know, the areas in this game are so unique. It's like we were traveling all around in Disc 1 and war zones and battlefields and stuff like that, volcanoes, caves. And now we're in an area with no gravity, or at least a warped up sense of gravity. I believe right there is where we need to go. Oh, I may have done this wrong. That's okay. Okay. We'll figure it out. And the areas get more and more unique as the game goes on. Like, no area in the game is gonna be like another area in the game. Yeah, you'll go in caves, but no cave is gonna be the same as a previous cave. Alright, so where are you? Okay, I guess we gotta go this way. Let's try this one. Oh, did I choose the wrong one? Oops. We'll go in the other one. You'll go into castles, but no castle is going to be the same as a previous castle. You know, ancient ruins are not going to be the same. And they'll have different, like, everything in the game is there to explain the world to you. Literally every area you go to tells the story of everything that happened before you started playing this game. It's probably one of the most unique forms of world building, if you ask me. Alongside a good story, cool characters, unique combat system. That's the reason why this game's a classic and other games aren't. Like, let's say Breath of Fire, for instance. Breath of Fire is a game that has a ton of races and enemies and unique mechanics. But if you were to ask me a thing one about the game's lore, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you why characters are the way they are, what they do. I know the main character has half dragon or something. I know there's a girl who has ability of flight. She's a princess. You know, I could tell you what I know in the game, but I couldn't tell you why things are in the game. Not to say Breath of Fire is not a good game. It's just the dungeons are just dungeons. They're not really there to tell you about the world. Alright. Alright. I think we go this way. Alright. You know, this game straight up tells you about the several races of creatures. The humans, the Gigantos, the Winglies, the tiny people, which it's a little odd that you never got a tiny dude, whatever they're called. You never got one in your party, which was a little weird because they made a big deal about them existing as one of the races of this world. But you only meet a few in the game. In fact, by the time I heard that they existed as a race, like, I heard it a couple of times, but I just kind of ignored it. But by the time I realized they were one of the main races, I was like, have I even seen one in the game? And, you know, forgetting all the many times I've actually seen them in the game, like in the fair. There's a bunch of them there at the carnival. But, yeah. That's one of the odd things about this game. Maybe because they couldn't make one that had a cool looking design or something like that, or one that fit the combat system. Even the cultures among the races and people, like different Winglies have different cultures, different humans have different cultures. And I find that very interesting in this game. Spoiler alert, you do see the Winglies in this game. So what we're doing here. Oh yeah, I remember what we're doing.
Die. More and more.
I have the spirit stone on her, I believe. The thing that allows her to get spirit every time her turn starts. Let's check our additions out real quick. Wow, I'm almost done with Crush Dance. More and More is doing pretty... Why is Whip Smack not up there? Alright, well... We will continue with More and More because... okay. I don't want to switch to that just yet. Change him back to Harpoon. I haven't even touched her yet because she doesn't have a Dragoon spirit. Hell, I'll be using Kongol as a character before I get to use her as a character. Forgot this guy was in the party. Do I go to... Hold on, let me look up. Let me look up the wedding, because I think it. I don't think that's a thing. Let's see. Wedding. Alright, so we can't go to Kate's wedding. When do we go to? In this 2, there's a scene. Alright. Let's go. I wanted to go get Kongol's spirit, but we'll go to the wedding now. We'll save before we do it, obviously. So, I don't think I've ever actually participated in the wedding. Maybe I just kind of ignored what he said. I've never really been the one to read text when it comes to story unless I just wanted to. I was like, oh, that guy's leaving, whatever. You know, and I'd just ignore him. But man, I guess there's a wedding. I just never noticed. Here it is. Alright, we might have to reset the game if we don't catch the bouquet, I think. Nice. Oh wow. I guess I kind of forgot that detail. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, okay? Dart should marry his childhood friend. I had to look it up because I forgot her name for a second. Can you believe that? I've been playing this game for longer than some people have been alive. I guess sometimes it's hard to think of things when you're trying to remember. Alright, so now we go and we get Kongol's Dragoon Spirit. So Kongol will probably end up getting his final edition before Dart, assuming... Well, no, I take that back. Assuming I use Kongol enough, because he only has like 3 attacks, I think, 3 additions, and they're all super easy. He could potentially be the first one to get his final edition. Even his final edition's like 4 attacks, I think.
Take that, flurry of sticks.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
I think this game probably would be very different if you could switch out Dart instead of having to have them in their party all the time. Oh, nice. The game would definitely be very different, because the party combinations would be just busted, I think. 2 healers and an offense person. Yeah, I actually, thinking about it now, I imagine people wouldn't even choose to have Dart in their party, even though he's the most balanced character. They'd probably like switch him with Kongol or something. Or maybe they would have him in the party for an all-attack team.
Take that, flurry of sticks.
Die. More and more.
As the game is right now, switching between the characters is good, because there's no one party layout that's better than another. Well, sort of. You could go an all magic build with Shauna and Miru and just murder everything in the game, but other than that, there's no layout better than another. And I imagine if you were to be able to switch out Dart, there would be a definitive team layout that would just boost you through the game.
Take that, flurry of sticks. Yes. Go.
Die. More and more.
Oh, nice.
Take that, flurry of sticks.
I imagine Rose will probably get to Dragoon level 3 before Hushel. Unless I switch her out with Kongol. That is a question. Normally, okay, so my brother Michael, his chosen team is either Rose or Hushel, and then Kongol. So most of the time it's Hushel and Kongol, and switching out occasionally Hushel for Rose.
Yes.
I like to switch them all out, but if I had to pick a team, it would probably be like Shauna, oh dang it, Shauna, Rose, and Dart. Okay. I think it's north. We'll find out. I Doesn't matter which. Hey.
Take that! Flurry of sticks!
Hushel's probably one of the most busted physical characters in the game. Not to mention that nobody's weak against him or nobody's strong against him. Meaning, he just does raw damage. Nope, we don't need to go to Hoax. We'll take the long way around, it's okay. I don't mind these extra fights. It just means more additions. Try not to mess this up.
Die. More and more.
There you go. Yeah, I keep on messing that up for some reason. She must have leveled up her addition. I could have swore it was 35 a second ago. Yeah, we gotta go this way. I don't mind taking the long way around, it's fine. We could just go to south, but I don't feel like taking it. I like this because it gives me more XP. When I mean XP, I mean addition XP. Dragoon XP, I suppose you could say.
Die. More and more.
I'll probably have a second, third level Dragoon by the time I get Hushel. The marshlands. Okay. I think the speed up will be very useful in combo with Hushel.
Die. More and more.
It's like his second miss.
Yes. Go.
Yeah, we have way too much HP for these enemies. Oh. Yeah, now all I have to do is just not mess up my additions. A spear. I can sell that. Make like 20 gold. Let's go. Wow, there we go. It looked like I was just running in place for a second there. Alright. Now I want to play Mega Man X. She's asleep, huh? Bad choice. That's the beauty of turning into a dragoon. We'll get rid of the salamander. Throwing lava? You're just gonna throw lava at me? Turning into a dragoon gets rid of all stats anomalies, except for death, of course. I'm pretty sure. And so, saving up all your dragoon spirits is good for when you're fighting bosses that do stats anomalies. You know, I was just sitting here thinking about the fact, like, okay, so some of you who are new to the channel or may not know me personally, I am in fact a wrestler. I've been I was backyard wrestling for many years. Not too many matches, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, but not too many matches in the grand scheme of things, but I was a backyard wrestler, and then eventually, oh, internet quality's bad. Ugh. Hopefully the stream doesn't cut off. If the stream does cut off, I'll wait until a certain point and then restart the stream. But anyway, so yeah, and then eventually got trained up by a real wrestler. Not to say backyard wrestling is not wrestling. I would say that personally, I think backyard wrestling is inferior to professional wrestling, but it is still wrestling. I think professional wrestling is more, well, it's professional, it's more official, I suppose, as opposed to backyard wrestling. Not to say that backyard wrestling doesn't have its pros, it's more hardcore and all this other stuff. Anyway, so, oh, wrong way. So that having been said, I've been professional wrestling for about 1, 2, 3, 4 matches now, and I'm gonna have my 5th match at the end of this month. And I was thinking about work, talking about how excited I am for my matches and whatnot, and someone at work was like, well, you're not a professional wrestler, and I was like, but I am. And it's a weird thing, because yeah, I'm not WWE wrestling, but I am a professional wrestler, wrestles in rings with real wrestlers. So, you know, it's kind of weird. It's like, what qualifies as legit professional wrestling. What qualifies to be considered a wrestler? And the only conclusion I could come up with was that if there are tiers. There are tiers of wrestling. There are people who know nothing about wrestling, but they're still wrestlers. There are those who have been trained, but aren't great at wrestling, and they're still wrestlers, so on and so forth. And I think I would meet the second tier, where I'm not a master wrestler. I haven't mastered the art of wrestling. Well, I guess we're gonna have to go through this hole. But I've definitely gotten good enough at wrestling to be considered a professional wrestler. And yesterday at work, a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, he's the brother of my best friend, and he walks up to me. He's like, "Wow, I just saw your wrestling matches for the first time," and he's like, "You've come such a far way. Really